Welcome. Today I'll be showing you how I made this resin-coated wood slice hairpin leg table. For more inspirational ideas, please look in my description box for a few more inspirational videos. Now let's get started. I cut off a slice of a fallen tree with a chainsaw. If it's too wet, then the resin will not cure, so I use a moisture meter to check it. I let it dry for several weeks until the moisture reads 10% or less. To get the top of the wood slice flat and even, I used a router with a flattening jig and sled to work my way across the surface of the slice. Once finished, I come in with an angle grinder and use 50 grit sandpaper to smooth out any lines. I then go back in with a higher grit of sandpaper and eventually a belt sander to get the top completely smooth. Since I need to fill in these cracks that run the entire depth of the wood, I use Tyvek tape and secure the bottom, and make sure to overlap each piece of tape so any resin will not leak out of the bottom. I also carefully apply the same tape to the side of the wood slice where there is a crack that reaches the edge. I use tape to make sure it will be flush when I fill it with resin, taking care to put several layers in several directions to make sure nothing comes out. I also add additional tape to the bottom where this prominent crack is. I put the slice on an upturned bucket to keep any dripping resin from pooling at the edge. To fill in the cracks, I will be using clear polyester casting resin. When using it, personal protection equipment such as a respirator, safety goggles, and disposable or chemical gloves is very important. For this specific resin, I will be pouring the number of ounces I need and then determining how many drops of catalyst to use based on my desired thickness and how many ounces I am using. I mix this for a full minute, working at a medium pace and making sure to scrape the sides. Now I am quickly working the resin into the cracks to fill them. If there are any large bumps after the resin has cured, you can simply use a sharpened chisel to remove them. Now I am removing the tape from the sides of the wood slice. I am not completely removing the tape, simply making it so only the bottom is now covered. Now I'm going to be using a coating resin. For this, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of resin to hardener. I'm making about 12 ounces. I'm using a silicone spatula to thoroughly mix the two together, making sure to scrape the sides and pull up the top from the bottom. I do this for a full 2 minutes. For the best coverage, I'm going to pour the resin in the center and let it work its way out and over the sides. Sometimes the resin will need a little push to go in the right direction. I use my Wagner heat gun to remove any remaining air bubbles. Once it has cured, I can now flip it over and remove the tape from the bottom. I ended up needing to use the chisel in a few places where the resin had encased the tape, making it a little harder to get off. In a few places, I had to scrape off the tape. Any remaining bumps left from the dripping can easily be removed with a chisel until the bottom is flat. Now I'm adding the hairpin legs to the bottom of the table. You want to make sure that they are evenly spaced and that they reach the edge of the wood table for max stability. I use a board to make sure that they are in the right spot. Then I use a permanent marker and place a dot in each hole where I need to drill a pilot hole. I mark up 1/2 inch from the tip of the drill bit with tape to make sure I drill at the correct depth. Once the holes are drilled, I can place my leg and then begin screwing in the screws by hand before going back in with a drill to get them in all the way. I do this for each of the 3 legs. And now my table is complete. Just flip it on over and I'm ready to go. I think this table came out beautifully. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to check in the description below for a few more inspirational ideas.